All right, good afternoon. Let's take our seats. We're gonna get started. How's everybody doing? All right, let's try that again. How's everybody doing? All right, good. Just wanna make sure you're awake after lunch. I know some of you had big lunches and your travels here. Well, welcome, great to have you here. My name's Jon Lavin. We'll be doing the first 30 minutes. This is gonna be an amazing afternoon. I don't know what happened to this middle group. Someone just decided they either didn't want to show up or you guys just like this section better. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm really, it's been a crazy couple weeks. I flew home for my 50th high school reunion, okay? Yeah. I know I don't look like I could possibly be that old, but I am. None of you made any noises to agree with that. So we went there, and then I went back home to West Palm Beach, and we packed up the house because it gets hot here. Y'all know it gets really hot here, like right about now. Well, South Florida's already hotter, and so we went north. So now I've been home for about a week, and I got on an airplane this morning and got back down here, and so it's great to be here. Life is great, you know, as Jimmy Meyer would say. I've never really experienced life this way, and what I want to talk to you all about today are the skill sets that we've used, and for a lot of you, this is just going to be very repetitive. Too bad. You need to hear it again, okay? I pretty much have stuck with the same conversation. I'm gonna speak with you twice today, but this 30 minutes, I'm gonna pack a lot. You're gonna wanna take notes. Some of you are RVPs. If you're an RVP, just raise your hand so I can see the RVPs. Okay, and some of you qualified to be here, raise your hand if you did, and some of you snuck in, raise your hand if you snuck in. Okay. So I wanna really talk to you about the things that we've done that are time-tested. They're really, I would call them the non-negotiables of success in Primerica. They're not systems-oriented in any way, meaning it doesn't pertain to what you all do in your base shops. It's very generic, but it's an outline. And when it comes to this business, I had to get everything in my head. What order should things be done? So that I would have a way of judging whether I was moving forward or not. There's a lot of people in Primerica. And by the way, this is a meeting where we are just going to let it rip. If you're brand new and you're here, this meeting is not for you. So if if it doesn't make sense, sorry, okay? Write down, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And later when we do a break, you'll get a chance to do that. But I want you all to think about this weekend a little differently, and I'm gonna set it up this way. I went for a lesson. I've got a long story on this, but just to make it real quick, right at the beginning of COVID, I'm a golfer, I love golf, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna get my, when you got like $100,000 a month coming in passive, you just at some point go, okay, now what? Now what? Okay, I got that, that's set, now what? Let me get good at golf again. So so COVID hit, and I got an online instructor, and I sent him my video. He said, send me the video, and then we were gonna do Zoom meetings, 1 hour a week for 5 weeks, right? It was $500, I was a very inexpensive, high-level coach, and I knew his reputation. He had taught guys on the tour, and so the first lesson that we come back in, he says, all right, are you wearing red? Now, he sees me on the Zoom, I'm not wearing red. He says, are you wearing red? I said, well, you can see I'm not wearing red. I said, why does that matter? And he says, because when I'm done evaluating your swing, you're gonna be bloody. I don't want to embarrass you. And I immediately remember thinking to myself, this is awesome. Because I want to be great at something. How many of you want to be great at this? Okay. Well, you're not gonna be great doing what you've been doing unless you're always trying to get better. Always trying to get better, always evaluating what's next. Then I went and had another lesson with a guy named Martin Hall, where I live in West Palm. If any of you are golfers, you see him on the Golf Channel, he's a famous guy. And I started working with him, and he did a video of my swing. And in the video, he said, here's the goal. The goal is to find the one thing, and this is what I want all of you to think about this weekend. He said, the goal is to find out the one thing that if you fix it, that one thing that if we fix it first, it fixes the most things naturally. So what's the one thing? So I was doing this video and my head was like this. And then when I'd get ready to swing, I would turn my head this way. See what I did here? Now, if you don't play golf, that doesn't mean anything to you. But if you play golf, if you move your head this way, when you try to turn, your chin is in the way. He said your head needs to swivel this way, not this way. It needs to swivel this way. He says if you do that one thing, it will fix so many things. And so I said, okay, well, how do I fix that? And he gave me some sort of gadget that I started working with that could self-teach me how to have my head. Actually, it went on my hat, and it was like I was looking through this little square thing. It was fluorescent around it. And if I did this with my head, I could see that my head was doing that. So I could teach myself that way. Are you teaching yourself? Are you working on your fundamentals and getting better and evaluating and do you have a coach? So do you have somebody who can actually critique you and work with you and share with you that you trust and like? Now, here's the hard thing about a coach. Both of these coaches that I had in golf were world-renowned coaches. So when they said something to me, their credibility was already at max. It wasn't like I could really question them. They had a track record of success. Are you all with me? So one of the challenges I find for a lot of you in your coachability is you've not bought in 100% to the track record of success of the person that's coaching you or attempting to coach you. And so many times you're being coached by people, you look at their track record, you're all done getting their coaching, you go in the leader's bullet. You look up their numbers. And you go, well, these numbers aren't really worth following. And so you discount the information. Here's my advice. Find out who trained them, and find out who trained them, and find out who trained them, and seek the highest level of excellence to coach you. Does that make sense? Here's the problem. Unless you're doing work, unless you're showing up like here, like, look, all of you are here, you are instantly telling anybody that's in your upline organization, all your leadership team, that you care. Or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have traveled. You wouldn't have been here right at 3 when it started. There will be people that wander in. You're here. That's a sign. See, you have to earn. And John Conover talks about this all the time. He's one of my directs. I don't know if he's here yet. He just flew in this morning. They're coming from the airport. But he said, you've got to earn the respect of your coach where they want to coach you. Is everything that you're being coached to do, if they have a track record of success? Look, here's the reality. Anybody that can make $100,000 a year, I'm gonna go down one level. Anybody who's making $1,000 a week here knows what they're doing. You have a level of knowledge that's now worthy. Now, I'm not saying if you're making less than that, it's not worthy. I'm just saying let's get it up to 50. Let's get it to 1,000 a week. Can we all agree that in the money business, in the financial industry we're in, with the needs the consumer has for what we do, we should be able to figure out at some point how to make $1,000 a week? Yes? Yeah, and so that ought to be like your initial goal is I got to make $1,000 a month, part-time and learning. And then once you're doing that, you now start to develop the skills to go up. So I want to set the premise of what's the one thing this weekend that if you identify it, it fixes the most things. That's your job this weekend, to figure out what that one thing is. If nothing else happens, what's the one thing, all right? Y'all with me on that? Okay, so let's look at some basic fundamentals. And once again, this is a 8-hour talk that I'm going to do in now 21 minutes, okay? So don't try, you're not gonna remember it all, but it's all available, it's all on POL, it's all on, you can find every bit of it. It's not like it's a mystery, the material is there, and you'll have the videos to watch. So let me use this little clicker here, the green forward should be it. So I call this becoming a qualified field trainer / RVP in training. I don't think anyone should go to RVP if they don't have the ability to get somebody else to do the business without them. I mean, at some point you should say, oh, I recruited this person. I met them, I prospected them, I booked the appointment, I presented, I got the IBA, I did the orientation, I did their own plan, I helped them get licensed, I field trained them, I taught them how to present, I taught them how to recruit, I taught them how to do an interview. They actually know how to interview somebody and write business on their own. I did it, I taught them. I don't think we should have any RVPs who can't point to, like, they say a minimum of 6 districts, right? The guidelines, I don't know what guidelines use, doesn't matter, but it's always a minimum of 6 direct districts. Do you understand that 6 people that you got licensed direct to you, who got at least 3 recruits and whatever other guidelines you have? I mean, it's not like, if someone's got any kind of credibility in a list, you should be able to go make 3 recruits happen. They may not know what's going on, but you should be able to at least have that happen. The big problem is many of you are so good at making that happen that the people that you're training haven't learned anything. They're not doing anything when you're done. When you're done, they still don't know how to do anything. You did it all. You made it happen. You made recruits happen. That's good. You win trips. IBAs, licensing, that's good. You need licenses. Sales happen. That's good. Clients got taken care of. That's a good thing. You made money. That's a good thing. Your person saw that it works. That's a good thing. Those are all good things, yes? So I'm not saying it's a bad thing that they don't know what they're doing when you're done, but what's your goal? Is your goal to do it all forever? How cool would it be to be at a point where you don't have to write any business and 100 or 200 grand a year comes in? You said it, or a month. How about let's start with a year? Let's start a year, 100 grand, 200 grand a year passive from, I'm gonna say, a team under management, assets under management, and I can't say it because we're at church, so there's fining. No, can't say it, we're at church. People under management and assets, money under management, will generate passive income for you, both, okay? So let's take a look at what are some of these basic, simple fundamentals. Well, I think the first thing we have to do is we have to figure out who are we gonna work with? Where are we gonna spend our time? Time is limited. There's too many of us that are, Andy's gonna do a talk on the color system, and there's a lot of you that are very people-oriented, you love people, and you wanna help everybody. And you spend a lot of time helping people that are nice people, that you like, that do not deserve your time and energy in business. This is business. So who are the people? Well, you want people with people skills, obviously. You should pretty well be able to determine pretty quickly, does this person that I'm talking to have a likability about them? I'm just saying that's people skills, likable, okay? Next, are they competitors? Now, this is not required, but boy, do you want it. You want competitors. You want somebody that when there's a leader's bulletin, they're telling you about the leader's bulletin. Like they've already checked out, they know who the top districts are in the state and the company. They're competitors, right? They're workers. They've got a work ethic. Is it pretty easy to determine quickly whether someone's lazy or not? Yeah, I mean, how many people do you have on your team? How many of you are working a lot on Zoom? Raise your hand. Okay, so me too. So on Zoom, it's really easy to find out who to work with. Not on screen, most of the time, I'm not working with you. Oh, you don't understand. I do understand. I really do. You're not gonna learn this business multitasking training. It's just not gonna work. Am I gonna allow, in our world, we allow you to stay plugged in, just not gonna get a lot of my attention. I can't. I've gotta invest in people that are investing, people that are on screen, ready to go, have figured out, how to have a decent looking background. They're not moving around all the time. They got a notepad. They're actually looking like they're interested. They're actually responding. They're writing in the notes. In the Zoom world, you have to learn how to identify who's in the game and who isn't, okay? How about this one? Coachable. Not chokeable, coachable. With a lot of chokeable recruits, chokeable people. This is what chokeable people sound like. This is their favorite line. They don't always say this, but it's yeah, but, yes, but you don't understand. Yes, but. How many of you know a yes, butter? Not gonna work with me. Can't always have a reason that you can't do what you said you were gonna do. There can't always be an event. There can't always be a catastrophe. These people, it's like drama. Oh my God, drama after drama after. Can you just maybe wait for some drama for like a year? Can we get some momentum for a year and then you can have some drama? Your drama every other week is really not gonna work. Attendance, they show up, they're on time, they're early, they're ready to go, like you all here. Have you ever met anybody, who's met somebody who successfully built an organization who didn't show up to meetings? Can I see your hand? I don't see any hands. No, you have seen them be successful and they didn't show up to meetings. Now you might say, well, I have people who write business and they don't show up to meetings. They write chargebacks, that's what they write, okay? Any of your people that write a lot of business that don't show up, for the most part, I'm gonna say 98% chance that's just chargebacks waiting to come at you, okay? So that's a big one. And they get licenses. They get licenses, all the licenses, fast, like they're on it. Like you can't how many of you like the word override? Raise your hand if you've gotten an override. Overrides are good, say that. How about this one? Overrides are great. Can you override somebody who isn't life licensed? Oh, well, I could get PLPP. I'm not talking about the non-licensed products. I'm talking about our business that we're in. We're in the life insurance business. We're in the investment business. We're in the mortgage business. We're in 3 amazing businesses. You may not be, but we are as a company. You don't even have to be in all the businesses, but I'd recommend somebody in your base is. Why are you giving money away? Why are you giving money away? So they're getting licensed. They're getting licensed quickly. You can identify that they're getting licensed quickly. And if they're getting licensed quickly and you're able to field train them simultaneously, pretty soon you're gonna have somebody that's on their own writing business. Now, one of the things you're gonna hear that I've heard very clearly from Miguel Illich, and I think it was a brilliant thing he said to me, and I think it's important that I mention this because when he said it, I was happy to hear it. Because look, on stage, I'm like direct and straightforward. With people, I'm much nicer. I'm much nicer one-on-one. People that know me, he's never that direct, one-on-one. I'm really not. So I said, Miguel, what happens when you're doing a fast start with somebody and they kind of putting the brakes on? Like you start talking about booking some appointments and they say, like the first thing they say is, now? Yeah, now, okay? And then they resist. Then, oh, I can't now. And then there's a reason. And you can just see that if you push, and you're good at it, and you push it, and all you're gonna do is push them away. And so they immediately shift to, oh, no problem. We'll start you with licensing. That's not a problem. We'll start you with licensing. And he shifts right on to a licensing game plan. He says, you can't override someone that's not licensed anyway, so hey, either way, let's get a lot of licenses. And I like that. That felt good to me. It gave me permission that everybody didn't have to fit into the box of go fast. Because guess what? They're not all gonna fit into the box of go fast. Go fast is really, really, really good for you, a field trainer. If you know what you're doing, go fast is a blast. Go fast is great because you've got all your appointments are made for you in a warm market. You got free leads, all your appointments are made for you in a warm market. Is that how many of you would love a system where you have free unlimited leads in a warm market and all your appointments are made for you? Raise your hand. That's the system you're in. That's what we've got if somebody wants to go fast, but they don't all want to go fast. And you've got to learn how to identify that. I think when Andy's going to give you that, the colors talk will help a lot of you with that. A green personality or a T in the star system, these people need to know stuff first. They're not just going to move. And some of them become the very best people you'll ever have, okay? So we now have, oh good, I'm moving along. All right, now 7 fundamentals. Not gonna spend a lot of time on this. Get this from Hector Lamarck. There's no one that does it better. You can go onto YouTube and look it up. You can go to his website and look it up. You can go, Primerica now has it on there. He's done several videos recently on Primerica Online on 7 fundamentals. But I will just tell all of you, these aren't negotiable. These 7, there's no negotiating. You're either, and if you grade yourself on these, you should score yourself. As a matter of fact, I'd like all of you to do something this afternoon, like right now. I want you to do this. I'm gonna go through each of these, and I want you to give yourself a grade of 1 to 10 on each of these fundamentals. 1 being I'm not good at it at all. 10, I'm really good at it. I'm an expert. 7 or 8, pretty good, right? Y'all with me? And then I want you to write them down you can do it on your phone, write it down. and text the score of each of these to your trainer, your field trainer, or your RVP, okay? How many of you are willing to do that? Raise your hand if you're willing to do that. Okay, so now and if your RVP or leader sitting there, watch you raise your hand, they would expect to get a text. Let me give you an example who you don't work with. Someone who raised their hand, sat here, and then doesn't text it to you. Doesn't mean you're mean to them. You might say to them, hey, where's your text? What's up? You can say that. If they go, yeah, but, now we got a new problem. Now we got a yeah, but on top of something they didn't do. Y'all, this is just this is like a tennis match. I hit the ball over the net, they hit it back. They don't hit it back, there's no one, I can't keep playing the game if you can't hit the ball back. So this whole business is testing people to find out where they are at this moment to move their business forward. So prospecting. There's no greater prospecting system, in my opinion, than the one Art Williams created. Art Williams created a prospecting system that says, recruit a part-timer who has a warm market and have them introduce you to their warm market. That was the greatest system that ever could have been invented. Now, whether you're meeting them for recruiting or you're meeting them for the financial literacy that we provide, doesn't matter how you meet them, because if you're good at presenting, both get done anyway. So let's look at the next piece. That's prospecting. Out and about prospecting, meeting people online, social media prospecting, prospecting at networking groups, prospecting. As a matter of fact, when we're done the weekend, for most of you, your number one thing that you'll need to fix is this one. Promise you fix this one, it fixes more of the rest. If you had more appointments, would you make more money? Yes. It's appointments. How do you get an appointment? You got to meet somebody. I love meeting people in new recruits markets. I love meeting clients referrals. I don't really like working clients referrals, but when I started, I worked client referrals and I worked new recruits markets, and that kept me in the business long enough to stay here. I needed to make money. Eventually, everything was about taprooting. Everything was about building depth. Everything shifted from, I need to find a leader who can run a leg without me, and I got to build an army under him. Andy's probably done that as well as anybody I've seen here in the last 2 years in our company. We've watched him do it. I mean, some of the numbers are staggering what he's done, but that's a focus. A depth charge is a focus, right? So prospecting, appointment setting. I like to set appointments by having somebody else set the appointment. Today, you could do appointment setting with three-way text messaging, for crying out loud. The appointments can be set. That's not the best way to set an appointment. The best way to set an appointment is to have a conversation with somebody. But if they're, if everybody's scared and nervous and then we might have to use texting. We didn't even have that when I started the business. If you didn't call them, the only other option was to go knock at their door. Those are the two options: go-bys or calls. That was it. Presentation. This will be. For all of you, the one thing that you can master. Every one of you can master your presentation. And I will say that if you haven't mastered your presentation, you can utilize the credibility and knowledge of your upline for a period of time, but at some point, you've got to be able to take over and be the show. You've got to be able to ask the questions. I started, our business is so different today because for me, life insurance is like and a Roth IRA is like, it's not even buy term and invest the difference. It's buy term and reduce the need for even needing to own life insurance. It's like buy term and become self-insured. So you don't need insurance. So it's not even buy term and invest the difference anymore. It's like so asking somebody a question, presenting is questions. So if you meet somebody and you say, I'm curious, who's your insurance? You meet them and you're talking. By the way, I'm the insurance and investment. Who's your insurance with? However you bring that, who's your insurance with? I think I got this right from Ian. Who's your insurance with? Great question. You should write that. Who's your insurance with? And you'll quickly find out whether they have any or not. Oh, mine's with work. Now I have a whole conversation about that. Okay, I don't have it. You don't have it? Let me ask you a question. Are there people dependent on your income? In other words, if you died, are there people that need your income? Is that a good question? Is it a straightforward question? Well, it's either a yes or no. They're either dependent on your income or not. Now you go, I don't know if I could ask people that. Learn to ask it. You're licensed. You're allowed to ask that question to people, right? So what would happen if you died? Let me ask you, how quickly would your income stop if you died? Immediately? And which of the bills would stop? So none of the bills stop, but the income did. So what happens to your family, your loved ones, if the income stops but the bills don't? What happens? What happens? No, like really, what would happen? Done. Listen, for pennies, how much would your family need a month? $4,000. Like for $50 a month, you could take care of that. I'll help you with that. How about it if you live? Do you have a lot of money that you're, you all see this? How much are you saving monthly so that someday you don't have to work? Good question. I don't know what questions you want to ask. I don't know which ones they teach in your office, but you're going to have to learn to ask some questions. That's presenting. Our entire presentation is the theory of decreasing responsibility. Okay, really. And get out of debt and have an emergency fund and a will. If you really think about it, that's what we do. Do we need long presentations to do that? We used to do long ones to have people understand they need to protect their loved ones if they die. They need to save and accumulate money if they live, right? So there's a presentation. By the way, record your presentation. Record it. Now, if you're doing Zoom, do a Zoom. Get permission from the people that you're doing the presentation with that you are recording for training purposes. Would it be all right if you record? Make sure that you can get permission, record the presentation, and you should go back and watch every kitchen table presentation, every interview, every closing appointment. We love the mobile F&A. We use the mobile F&A. You should go watch yourself do an interview. You should watch yourself do a kitchen, like a client type oriented presentation. You should look at an interview, how to do a close, a mobile F&A, and record yourself and watch it. And just like my guy saw me move my head this way instead of this way, you'll see things you do. Famous talk once that I was doing at Bill Whittle's school. I was doing a meeting like this, and all of a sudden I did this in the middle of the meeting. Just like in a big church. It was a big mega church, and all of a sudden I did. And it actually wasn't. It was like my hand came in from behind me and did this. And I remember watching the video after and go, what the heck is that? I was probably making $700,000 a year doing this crap. Okay, I don't know what you all are doing. I have a bald spot there from doing it so much, okay? Record yourself. I would give that to your trainer for them to take a look at. All right, you with me? You all hanging in? Okay, next one. Overcoming objections. There's only so many of them. You could listen. There's so much information that Primerica provides you with the overcoming objections. But if I were you, at some point, you got to shift all the music in your car off, all the Netflix, just cancel all the Netflix and the Amazon Primes and all the things that you all like to do at night when you're all done working, and go to work on your craft for a period of time. You'll be able to do all that stuff again later, and you'll be rich. It's really a lot of fun to watch Netflix when you have no financial worries. It's really a cool concept. But you need to overcome objections, and you need to listen to it over and over and over. And you need to listen to pros overcome them. Product knowledge. Product knowledge to me is life insurance. You need to be a pro at our life insurance. If I went around the room right now, and you've been here for any period of time, who's got a license? Okay, there are some of you right now, if I gave you a quiz on our life insurance product, you would not do well on the test. How quickly can you change that? Life Insurance Hub on POL is amazing. There is an amazing series of videos that explain everything about our product. There are brochures that explain everything about our product. And if you're going to be licensed in life insurance, you're going to be a pro, and you want people to follow and listen to you, and you want to create a track record that's worth listening to your coaching, I would recommend you be a pro, at least at our product. From there, we can move on to IUL. And the company's doing all sorts of stuff on that all the time. Product knowledge. I'd be a Roth IRA wizard. I'd be a Roth IRA. People need Roth IRAs. Our clients need Roth IRAs. You need to know everything about Roth IRAs. So while I'm not a securities license yet, doesn't matter. You can still talk about a Roth IRA. Anything that's in the book, How Money Works, you could talk about. You don't have to have a license. If you're worried that someone thinks you're licensed and you're not, you know how you handle that? I'm not licensed yet, but, and then you explain it, all right? And then getting a new recruiting interviews, recruiting clients, the best recruits ever, and getting new recruits started. And that subject, number 7, is the one that will make you millions of dollars. Number 7, your ability to connect with people, develop trust with people, have them like you, trust you, believe you, feel good enough to introduce you to their market. More importantly, feel good enough about you to introduce you to their market again after they've introduced you once. There's your sign. You want to know whether you're a good field trainer or not? They book appointments, and at the end they go, God, you made that so simple, and I was really nervous, but boy, that was really great. I've got more people I need to introduce you to. When that starts to happen, you're on your way. How does that happen? All this other stuff. All this other stuff. How's that happen? You plug into everything. How's that happen? You become a gym rat. You like you all are. You're here, you're learning, you're wanting to learn, you're wanting to pick up one or two ideas. This is a hard business for teaching, and it's a hard business for learning because we've got kindergarten and nursery school children in with graduate students in one room. So understand, if you're brand new and in nursery, like just getting started, you're a little infant here, you keep coming around, and eventually you actually know what we're talking about. Okay, and understand this is the way it's been at Primerica from the beginning. Because here's what's amazing about our business is once you master it. I've been doing this 45 years. Once you master it, you get 45 years later, I'm still talking about the exact same stuff I was talking that I mastered when I was 24. Same stuff. How cool is it that you can actually become an expert at something and it's actually valid years into the future? Like, you know, we talk, you know, because as you get older, a lot of people, as they get older, they become irrelevant. They can't relate. They can't communicate. In our business, it's pretty easy to stay relevant. Okay, if you're really good at what you do. So has this been helpful? What's the one thing? Do it all weekend, look at the one thing, and please text your score 1 to 10 on each of these fundamentals to the person who invited you here. So I hope that is helpful. You are in for a treat. You're gonna hear from Teschler today, you're gonna hear from Charlemont today, and you're gonna hear from Andy today on the colors. You're gonna hear from, you know, $4 million earners. And by the way, the three I just mentioned, they are unbelievable people, unbelievable skill, big base shops, big organizations, lead by example. You could not have highest of integrity. You just couldn't have a better group of leaders leading you all. So thank you all. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you a little later tonight.